The famous and learned Jesuit, Monsignor Leon Murin, Archbishop of Port Louis, confirms in his authoritatively substantiated work Philosophy of Freemasonry the following. The first degrees of Freemasonry are intended for the purpose, as we will see further below, of transforming the layman into real men in the Freemasonic sense. The second section, which passes from the 12th to 22nd degree, is intended to dedicate men to the Jewish pontifex, and the third section of the 23rd to 33rd degree must dedicate the pontifex to the Jewish king or Kabbalistic emperor. The first thing that surprises the new disciple of a lodge is the Jewish character of everything which he finds there. From the 1st to the 30th degree he hears only talk of the great work of rebuilding the Temple of Solomon, of the murdering of the architect Hiram Abiff, of the two pillars Boaz and Jachin, III, Kings 7:21, of a host of secret symbols, signs, and Hebrew holy words, and of the Jewish calendar, which adds 4,000 years to our own, so as not to honor the birth of the divine Savior. After the Jews had set up Freemasonry in different lands, they secured themselves predominance in the Grand Orients by number and in influence. On the other hand, they set up a great number of lodges exclusively for Jews. Even before the Revolution of 1789, the brothers Ecker and Eckhofen had founded in Hamburg the Lodge of Melchizedek, which was reserved for Jews. The Hebrews von Hirschfeld and Cotter founded towards end of the 18th century in Berlin a Lodge of Tolerance. Since that time, the Jews used the trick of bringing Jews and Christians closer, to ideologically and politically control or lead astray the latter. However, at that time they had to take their refuge in the secret leagues since the laws and customs of the Christian states of Europe revealed satisfactory measures which had the aim of protecting the Christians against cheating by the Jews. The Secret Freemasons paper of Leipzig said in their October number of 1864 that the middle point of the Jewish lodges in Paris was under the direction of Kremer and the Grand Rabbi. The doctrines, signs and degrees of Freemasonry come from Jewry. The famous Archbishop Bishop of Port Louis says, when he speaks of the Jewish origin of Freemasonic doctrines, the following. The doctrines of Freemasonry are those of the Jewish Kabbalah, mysticism, and in particular those of their book Zohar, Light. This is not recorded in any Freemasonic document. For it is one of the great secrets, which the Jews preserve so that only they themselves know it. Nevertheless we have been able to discover it, when we followed the traces of the number 11. Here we have discovered the fundamental doctrines of the Jewish Kabbalah which were taken up into Freemasonry. In the preceding chapters there remained always a certain number of Freemasonic signs that were more or less inapplicable. All this, which plays a role in Freemasonry and its history, allows itself to be applied with astonishing ease to the Jewish people. What exists in reality in Freemasonry, is all completely, exclusively, and passionately Jewish from beginning to end. What possible interest have the other peoples in rebuilding the Temple of Solomon? Do they do it on their own account or on account of the Jews? Have these peoples or the Jews a use therefrom? What advantages does the fact represent that one destroys the other, so that, in the end all over the world, the princes of Jerusalem, 16th degree, the heads of the tabernacle, 23rd degree, or the princes of the tabernacle, 24th degree, triumph? Have the peoples become united, so as to serve the Jews as a footstool? Psalm 109, why do they hurry to set upon their head the crown, Kether, and to lay the kingdom, Markath, at their feet? It is so evident that Freemasonry is only a tool in the hands of the Jews, which only they in reality lead, that one feels tempted to believe that the non-Jewish Freemasons, on the same day when their eyes are bound for the first time, lose their understanding and their power of judgment. The Freemasonic respect for the Jews. The most dignified Cardinal Caro says in his work The Secret of Freemasonry. In Freemasonry a great and quite special respect is always shown for the Jews. If there is talk of superstition, the Jewish religion is never mentioned. Upon outbreak of the French Revolution, French citizenship was urgently demanded for the Jews. Although it was rejected on the first occasion, it was expressly urged that it be granted, and it was allowed. The reader will recall that in those days the Catholics were persecuted to death. When the Commune ruled in Paris and it was necessary to protect the cash of the Bank of France against plundering, no one threatened the Jewish banks. La Franque. Maz. Sect Juve 60. Freemasonry has regarded antisemitism with revulsion, and in fact so much so that an anti-Semitic brother, who believed honorably in the tolerance of political opinions by Freemasonry, once placed himself as candidate for the Chamber of Deputies in France and was even elected. When the question of re-election arose, instructions were expressly given to the lodges that war was to be waged against him. Such instructions, which one almost never hears openly in the lodges, had to be followed. The Jewish predominance in the lodges. In the year 1862 a Berlin Freemason, who noticed the Jewish predominance in the lodges, wrote in a Munich paper, "There exists in Germany a secret sect with Freemasonic forms, which is subject to unknown leaders. The members of this association are in their great majority Israelites." In London, where, as one knows, the revolutionary head are found around the Grand Master Palmerston, there exist two Jewish lodges that have never seen Christians cross their threshold. It is there that are combined all the threads of the revolutionary elements which nestle in the Christian lodges. In Rome there is a further lodge, which consists completely of Jews, and where all threads as well as plots instigated in the Christian lodges unite, the Supreme Court of Justice of the Revolution. From there outwards the other lodges are directed as by secret leaders, so that the greater part of the Christian revolutionaries are only marionettes who are set in motion by Jews by means of the secret leaders. In Leipzig exists by occasion of the fair, which a part of the high Jewish and Christian merchants of all Europe attend, a permanent secret Jewish lodge in which a Christian Freemason is never accepted. This opens the eyes of more than one of us. There are secret envoys, who alone have admittance to the Jewish lodges of Hamburg and Frankfurt. Gougenet des Musso reports the following occurrence, which confirms the ensuing statements: "With the breaking out again of the Revolution of 1848, I had connections with a Jew, who out of vanity betrayed the secrets of the secret societies of which he was a member. The latter instructed me 8 or 10 days in advance of all revolutions that would break out in any point of Europe. I have to thank him for the unshakable conviction that all these great movements of repressed peoples, etc. were instigated by half a dozen persons who imparted their instructions to the secret societies of the whole of Europe. The ground under our feet is through and through undermined, and the Jewish people provided an entire contingent of these subterranean agitators." In the year 1870 de Camille wrote in Le Monde that he met a Freemason upon a round trip through Italy, one of his old acquaintances. To his question how things went with the order, he answered, "I have finally left the lodge of my order, for I have gained the deep conviction that we were only the tools of the Jews, who drive us to the total destruction of Christianity." La Fm Sect Juve, 43-46. As confirmation of the above I will reproduce a report, which is found in the Revue des Sociétés Secrètes, p. 118-119, 1924. 1. The Golden International, International Plutocracy and High Finance, at whose head are found a. In America, J.P. Morgan, Rockefeller, Vanderbilt and Vanlip. b. In Europe, the firm of Rothschild and others of second rank. 2. The Red International or International Association of Social Democratic Workers. This comprises a. The Second International, that of Belgium, Jew van der Velde. b. The International Number 21/2, that of Vienna, Jew Adler. c. The Third International or Communist International, that of Moscow, the Jews Appelbaum and Radke. This hydra, with 3 heads, which work separately for better effect, has at its disposal the Profintern, International Bureau of Professional Associations, which is its seat in Amsterdam and which dictates the Jewish word to the syndicates that have still not been incorporated into Bolshevism. 3. The Black International or Combat Organization of Jewry. The chief roles in it are played by, the World Organization of Zionists, London. The Israelite World League, which was founded in Paris by the Jew Kremer. The Jewish Order of the Bnei Moish, Sons of Moses, and the Jewish Societies Hinterlust, Hitakhdot, Tarbout, Karen HaEsod, and 100 more or less masked organizations, which are dispersed over all the lands of the Old and New World. 4. The Blue International or International Freemasonry. This unites all Freemasons in the world through the United Lodge of Great Britain, through the Grand Lodge of France and through the Grand Orients of France, Belgium, Italy, Turkey and the remaining lands. The active middle point of this association is, as readers know, the Great Alpena Lodge. 5. The Jewish Freemasonic Order of B'nai B'rith, which, contrary to the principles of the Freemasonic lodges, accepts only Jews, and which numbers over the world more than 426 purely Jewish lodges, serves as links to all the above enumerated internationals. The leaders of the B'nai B'rith are the Jews Morgenthau, former ambassador of the United States in Constantinople. Brandeis, Supreme Judge in the United States. Mack, Zionist. Warburg, Felix, banker. Elkus. Kraus, Alfred, the first president. Schiff, already dead, who supported the movement for emancipation of the Jews in Russia with financial contributions. Marshall, Louis, Zionist. We know definitely, says Nestor Webster, that the five powers, to which we have referred, the Freemasonry of the Grand Orient, Theosophy, Pan-Germanism, international finance and a social revolution, have a very real existence and a very definite influence on the destinies of the world. Hereby we do not proceed from assumptions but from facts, which can be authoritatively substantiated. Since the Revolution, the Jews have most of all appeared in connection with Freemasonry. Jewish Encyclopedia. In order to attempt to overthrow the Christian religion and in particular the Catholic, the Jews took their refuge in work of agitation, by that they dispatched others imperceptibly and they themselves hid behind, in order not to reveal their intentions, so greatly are they despised by all, to bring that fortress to collapse in the name of freedom. It was therefore necessary to undermine its granite foundation and to destroy the entire building of Christianity. And they set about the work of this enterprise and placed themselves at the head of this concealed world revolution by means of Freemasonry, which they had controlled. The emancipation of Jewry in France was the gain, pursued in secret, of the revolution, which invented its famed human rights, rights of man, in order to place the Jews upon equal rights with all Christians. To this and nothing else extends the much praised freedom, in whose name that terrible revolution was instigated.